With the most spectacular opening ceremony in history on August 8th, China began its 3-week glory in the global spotlight. The Beijing Olympics has been 7 years in the making, and many Chinese see the Games as a mass showing of power and prestige. Fervent national pride could be seen everywhere as China aims to propel itself onto the world stage as a force to be reckoned with. This can be seen in the enormous amount of investment put into preparing Beijing for the Games. The Chinese government has pumped in a record $42 billion, dwarfing the $15 billion budget for the Athens Games. Most of the money went to constructing the iconic Olympic venues such as the Bird's Nest and Water Cube. 4 new rail lines were also added, including a new airport express line. The result is a city that has changed dramatically since it was awarded to host the Games in 2001. Now, Beijing looks just like any affluent cosmopolitan city, supplemented by towers of glass and steel. In fact, the city is still changing so quickly that some locals joke you would need to buy a new map every month. But now that the Games are over and the passionate chanting has faded away, what will be the legacy of the Beijing Olympics? When bidding for the right to host the Games, China made several promises, including to ensure press freedom, improving human rights, and cleaning up pollution. But there has been a string of controversial incidents in the past months that suggest China has faltered on some of its promises. Several sensitive websites remain blocked, and some journalists were manhandled and even beaten. This included a group of Hong Kong reporters that were covering chaotic scenes at ticket queues. Amnesty International cites several instances of human rights violations and accuses the Chinese government of detaining activists and lawyers in the run-up to the Games. Due to constant criticism of China's human rights record, the authorities made a surprising decision to designate protest zones at 3 public parks, but in the end they all remained quiet. All 77 applications to protest were rejected, but pro-Tibet activists chose to use more unconventional ways to air their grievances, from abseiling up lampposts to chanting in Tiananmen Square. 37 protesters were eventually deported. On the pollution front, Beijingers woke up to a rather hazy Olympic dawn. Speculation was rife if the new anti-pollution measures would work at all, and whether blue skies would shine on the Games. But eventually the sky did clear up, and authorities have said they will continue to implement anti-pollution measures for the whole year. Many analysts speculate that the Olympics will play a fundamental role in shaping Beijing's political future. President Hu Jintao promised further political reforms after the Olympics. Many scholars even drew parallels between the Beijing Games and the Seoul Games in 1988, where mass protests ended decades of military dictatorship and paved the way to democracy. But that of course did not happen in Beijing. It's still too early to tell what kind of impact the Olympics will have on China. But there is no doubt the Games have been a unifying force for the Chinese people, and 2008 will be remembered as the beginning of a new and empowered China. For the South China Morning Post, this is Edwin Lee.